Hey peoples, Swamp here, and welcome to episode 24 of Danganronpa. Last time we finished our investigation and we started our second trial. And in this episode we're going to continue on with what Byakuya is trying to say.
It was to keep her other personality from getting out.
Yes, which I've been stating since we first saw her.
What?
I came up with that theory long before this happened. I figured something like this would happen.
Toko was afraid of the murderous fiend inside of her, of killing even more people.
How? Yeah. How can you know all this?
I do believe you misunderstood her. What she's trying to say isn't, how can you know all this? No. What she wants to know is, how could you tell them?
Huh?
Ah! Now I know. She confided in Byakuya when she was trying to talk about her feelings, and told him about her personality, and he decided to capitalize on it. That basically sent her down the river.
Last night, just before Monokuma gave his motive speech, Toko and I had a strange conversation. She told me a most interesting story. She said a murderous fiend lived within her, and she was afraid it could appear and attack at any time. And that trepidation is what's caused her to have such a bleak attitude. Isn't that right, Toko?
This is all a lie. Right, Toko?
You said you wouldn't tell anyone.
What?
You promised! I can't believe you lied!
You have only yourself to blame. You came to me with your tragic little story. I didn't ask you to.
Love can cause many plights and horrors.
This is the real world, not some romantic fantasy fairy tale.
Way to shatter her dreams, Byakuya.
Besides, you broke your promise first. You said that as long as you were here, no matter what, you wouldn't let Genocide Jack kill anyone. But in spite of that promise...
I'm sorry. I could keep my promise. But don't worry. Never again. I will let Genocide Jack have control of her again.
You said if I kept my promise, you would go out with me.
Freaking, I knew this would happen. I predicted this. I'm getting good.
That's the only reason I promised.
How many times do I have to tell you? I never said that.
Byakuya, the supreme gentleman.
But you weren't able to do it. You just couldn't resist that rush you got from killing, could you?
I tried. I swear I tried to control it,
But your efforts were useless. What a disappointment.
I hate you.
Well, the opening act is nearly finished. All that's left is to hear from the person in question directly.
The person you don't mean.
Togo's body suddenly lunged backwards. A huge thud echoed across the courtroom, but in the next second...
Well, hello there! Is it me you were hoping to see? What the heck?
Bye, she's gonna kill you now for dissing her works.
So you figured it out, huh? Well, whatever. What are you gonna do? I'm the ultimate murderous fiend, Genocide Jack! Or better yet, let's go with Genocide Jill!
What the fuck is this?
And are you gonna fall down a hill?
Toko, what happened to you?
Please, kill Dr. Toko, go!
Not Toko, that's a loser name, and what happened is a textbook split personality. So what if one of them happens to be a serial killer? You should turn a blind eye to one's faults.
So intense.
Like they say, sound in murderous mind, sound in murderous body.
Well, I was right to suspicion of you from the second. I knew this would happen.
This one is so different from the one we've come to know.
Yes, well, the world is composed of a front and a back, you know. Just like how every inning has a top and a bottom, or how in the depths of every truth lives a little lie. Behind every dark and gloomy soul lives another that shines as bright as the sun!
This is the murder being genocide, Jack. This is beyond insane.
Miss Jack, Jill, can I ask you a question?
What's up?
Some of us think you might be the mastermind behind our entire situation. What are your thoughts on that?
Yes, because she's putting her own leg in risk.
Well, I'll tell you, I am the mastermind of all masterminds! Just kidding!
Then it's not true?
But why would she put herself in such a risk when her other personality would kick in and get her killed?
Of course it's not true! How dare you try to link me to that creepazoid!
Fight! Come on, Monokuma, get into a fight with her!
And another thing, the police and government and society in the outside world are totally powerless! I mean, they just let this idiotic bloodthirsty maniac go buck wild all over town!
Sure, I'm a bloodthirsty maniac, but life is pain, right? To live is to hurt other people. It's a necessary evil if you want to survive. The act of living itself causes pain for everyone. Just kidding again!
This should be enough to convince you. This murderous fiend is responsible for Chihiro's death. There's clearly a motive, so there should be no doubt.
A motive?
Remember what Monokuma told us? If someone didn't murder and graduate within 24 hours, an embarrassing memory or secret would be revealed. Well, let's assume that Toko's secret was about Genocide Jack. If a secret like that came to light, Toko's life would have undoubtedly been forever ruined. So she had a very clear motive to never have that side of herself exposed.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. But sorry, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm not the culprit.
Huh?
But I cannot imagine anyone other than you could murder someone in such a bizarre fashion.
Byakuya. Would you like
Maybe
Sorry.
so, but nevertheless, it's the truth.
I just get sometimes tongue-tied so much.
Do you really expect any of us to believe you?
Yeah. I could never believe a word you say, you monster.
Maybe she's totally right about that, but something's still bothering me. What she said, I need to get some more details all about this. Okay, let's do this. Go on. Status of the dead body.
Sorry, but I didn't kill anyone.
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're talking.
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely. What more proof do we need?
Okay?
Give it up. You killed her.
Okay, I'm going to do it once again. Okay, just remember Shear's body. That must be the answer which you proved, which said was right. Okay. I just want to see the
But
entire
I didn't kill anyone.
status of the body.
You say that, but do you really expect any of us to believe it?
Perhaps if you had an alibi, that would change things.
Oh, an alibi, huh? Now we're
Okay,
talking.
come on.
When you compare your past murders to this incident, the modus operandi matches completely.
Yeah, got it.
No, that's wrong.
Oh, that's the focus is the stars, I believe.
Are the methods of murder really
Perhaps, I don't
exactly
know.
the same? I'm not so sure about that. I think there's a slight difference between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
Huh? How is it any different?
Uh-oh, you don't know? Well then, human garbage, let me tell you!
Well, but... Okay,
I
apparently I was right about the
murder with
scissors.
passion and conviction.
But apparently, giving those good things, you didn't accept those shears during that first meeting. Literally, I just want to say this right now. I did not know about that. I didn't. It was pure coincidence. I was just doing like a murderous joke, thinking that she would go insane and just start stabbing multiple times. I just did. I didn't know about any of this.
I consider myself a professional, and I have a very particular way of doing things. Imagine you go to a fancy Italian restaurant. They're very picky about the noodles, the sauce, everything. But what happened to Chihiro? It'd be like if that same Italian restaurant started using ragu or Chef Boyardee. This is no creation of mine.
The Chef Boyardee is
Let me
canonical in the
rephrase that
Danganronpa universe.
in a way that maybe makes more sense. There are two clear differences between the Genocide Jack cases and this one.
The scissors which were instead swapped out with the dumbbell in this case, as well as the extension cord. Instead of
I got it!
okay,
For
we're
one,
doing well.
The cause of death is different. In the Genocide Jack murders, all the victims were killed the same way. According to the case file, they were all apparently killed with a pair of scissors. But Chihiro died from a blow to the head, right?
Ah, yes. That is remarkably different from the other murders.
Wouldn't it be strange for someone who kills the same way without fail to suddenly change their method? And there's more. One more conflicting detail.
That's right! In my recipe of murder, if the bloody message is the tortellini, then the arrangement of the body would be the pesto sauce!
Could you please stop comparing killing people to cooking?
So, are you saying the other difference has to do with how the body was arranged?
Extension cord. Alright, here you can see a clear difference. What was used to suspend her?
I got it!
Okay, we're moving along.
Do you
Sorry I'm not
remember
reading.
what the killer used
Sometimes
to
I just get so
suspend her?
into this. Like I said, sorry I get so into this
He
sometimes.
used some kind of rope to hang her up by her
Yeah.
wrists.
The extension cord.
What is your point?
Well, in all the previous Genocide Jack cases, something else was used to suspend them. Specifically, pairs of razor-sharp scissors.
And guess what? I used my own specially designed scissors for the murders and the arrangement! Like I said, I'm a professional, so naturally I'm very picky about the tools I use. And you know what else? Big Mac said there's 2 differences, but he's wrong.
Big Mac? Are you referring to me?
Listen up, Big Mac. There's actually one more difference.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna start calling Makoto Big Mac from now on. No wonder Sayaka was so into being his assistant. She thought he was a burger.
Huh?
My word, you really didn't notice? Take a look at who the victims were in each Genocide Jack case.
Yeah, the other point I was bringing up, the all guys thing. Apparently, Toko doesn't take well to guys who turn down, apparently.
Pattern there, just waiting to be discovered.
A pattern?
Figure that out, and it'll be plain as death why I couldn't have possibly killed that little lolly girl.
Let's see. There's a pattern surrounding the Genocide Jack and Chihiro didn't fit. If you look at the names of every victim, what you notice is, I think I figured it out. She couldn't kill them because Chihiro was a girl.
I got it! Is it because Chihiro was a girl?
I'm guessing all these things so fast.
Bingo! Bullseye, right on the money!
What are you talking about?
In all the Genocide Jack cases, all the victims had something in common.
Kenarada 32. I'm not gonna read the names, sorry. You can read them, I will be butchering them.
They were all guys?
That's right! The people I kill with such passion and conviction are all adorable little men! I can't believe I said it! I'm so embarrassed!
The hell is wrong with you?
Well, Toko apparently doesn't deal with rejection too well.
I'm just a full-throttle boy-on-boy fangirl, and the mopey side of me just hates it.
Good going! Good going! Hifumi, you guessed it right.
But now I'm on the fast track to becoming a full-fledged fan madam!
Got any comments?
So since Chihiro was a girl and not an adorable little man, you wouldn't kill her?
Would an Italian chef suddenly start making ramen just because they're both noodles? Don't be stupid. I have too much passion and conviction to cross that line. That's the absolute reality of the one and only.
We get it. You've clearly explained your hobby and your philosophy. But that's not all there is to it. It's a different matter entirely, when you're forced to kill in order to survive.
Quiet, lowly cur!
Lowly? Cur?
I would never kill for a reason as petty as mere survival. And if by some fluke I did kill to survive, why would I bother with the message and arrangement? It'd make me the obvious suspect!
That does make some amount of sense.
Plus, whatever reason I have for killing, I would never leave out my prized scissors. Who would go out of their way to use a big, stupid, heavy dumbbell?
Maybe you used the dumbbell because you couldn't find any scissors in the school?
You're oddly enough very tame about this, Hifumi. Just like literally, you're oddly reserved.
Any scissors? I don't just use any scissors. I only use my own set of high-class envy of the entire world scissors!
Okay, whatever. There still aren't any in the school.
Are you sure about that? Da-da-da-da!
She's fully equipped!
That's right! So I can kill anywhere, anytime! Why would I resort to dumbbells or rope when I have my trusty scissors by my side? Go ahead, tell me I'm wrong! You can't, can you, gutter dogs, all of you! Not to mention, I have no clue how to tie a good knot! So rope's totally out of the question anyway!
I have no idea what's going on anymore! Could such a heinous villain really be innocent?
But not a person who was playing to that villain, who learned about that villain, who knows all about that villain and their methods, and who could use said methods to basically pull the wool over our eyes. AKA, one certain Byakuya. I knew he was trouble. I knew he was behind
the
this.
body really was suspended, right? And nobody but the police knew about
And Byakuya.
Yeah. That's why we figured it had to be the real deal and not some copycat killer or whatever.
And someone who decided to hijack the investigation. Who tried to hijack the investigation. Freaking. This is obvious. This was obvious from the second the case started.
Here's my answer. Byakuya, it's possible you could have found out, isn't it? You'd have no problem gaining access to classified government documents or internal police records. Plus, you'd already looked through the Genocide Jack file before this all happened.
And it was your extension cord.
Are you saying Mr. Togami did it?
Then the reason he pushed the theory of Genocide Jack being the killer so hard was because he wanted to pin the crime on her.
So, he rearranged the scene to disguise it and make it look like I put my stamp on it! The adorable glasses man was behind it! Oh, I'm on fire!
Aren't you the lucky one, Byakuya? You got both personalities going after you.
Well, Byakuya, what's your response?
I see. So now the suspicion falls on me. Then I must ask, when would you say I began acting suspicious? Surely you must have an answer.
Look, the way you were acting right before we discovered the body was a little strange.
What? You're seriously thinking that late? What about when he was freaking out? When he was freaking yelling and bullying Chibi? Freaking bullying Chibi like that. And the locker room. They're suspicious. Very suspicious indeed, seem to agree. Not suspicious. It seems nobody searched the locker room. Let's start with the girls' locker room. And not to mention, he was being so direct
to go
with
to
the
the
cave.
girls' locker room right away, right? But since you're a guy...
I should have naturally thought of the boys' locker room first. Is that what you want to say?
No, you wouldn't have been able to get into the girls' locker room.
The victim was Chihiro, a girl. Hence why I said we should check the girls' locker room.
How would you know about this if you didn't discover the body?
About that, On the contrary, there's something very strange.
No one knew who the victim was.
Okay then, what's so strange about it? Go ahead, share with the rest of the class.
There was a clear contradiction in what Byakuya just said. I need to make it clear to everyone. New element is that absolutely. Next we're going to add something called a truth flashback. If you aim a weak spot and hold down the Y button, then you'll memorize that weak spot. This memorized space can only be shot once as a single truth bullet. If you shoot or change the truth bullet, it will disappear from your truth cylinder. However, you can use this flashback as many times as you want. If you don't seem to have the answer to a liar contradiction in your loaded truth bullets, it might be wise to memorize a different weak spot and use it to make your case. When the best time to flashback, well, you'll just have to use your keen wit, won't you? In this case, though, I will say that if you don't use a flashback, you won't be refuting anything. Well then, good luck and have fun! Oh, come on! Oh, this is gonna be horrible.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body. But he was acting weird... how?
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room,
You absolutely take it! That's a natural reaction for any guy!
Okay, you're
The
on all those now.
victim was Chihiro, who was a girl. So of course I would suggest we check the girls'
How
locker
would you
room
know that?
first.
You couldn't open
There
it
was
up.
no time for pointless distractions. What's so strange about that?
I wish you'd taken me with you.
Okay. Hearing Byakuya's comment about Chihiro being a girl, I realize there's a clear contradiction here, because it doesn't make sense how he could have known that before we even found it. Okay, I need to make sure that contradiction's clear. Oh, I hate doing
So,
this.
you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body. But
Sorry.
he was acting weird... how?
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room,
You absolutely take it! That's a natural reaction for any guy!
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl. So of course I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first. There was no time for pointless distractions. What's so strange about that?
I wish you'd taken me with you.
Okay. I'm actually getting it. Hearing Byakuya's comment, because it doesn't make sense how he could have known that before we even found it. Okay, now I'm
So,
seeing.
you said Byakuya, but he was acting...
If you're presented with the opportunity to check...
That's a natural reaction!
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl. So of course
Okay.
I would suggest we check the girls' locker. There was no time. What's so strange?
I wish you'd taken me with you.
Okay.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body.
Okay, sorry. I'm still getting used to this whole thing. I've never
So,
done
you
this
said
before.
Byakuya, but he was acting...
If you're presented
Okay.
with the opportunity...
That's a natural...
The victim was
Chihiro,
Okay.
who was a girl.
So of course I would suggest there was no time. What's so strange?
I wish you'd taken me with you.
If I have to hear the taking me with me part about Chihiro being a girl, I realize that there's a clear contradiction there, because it doesn't make sense how he could have known before we even found it. Okay, I need to make that contradiction clear.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body. But he was acting weird... how?
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker room,
You absolutely take it! That's a natural reaction for any guy!
The victim was Chihiro, who was a girl. So of course I would suggest we check the girls' locker room first. There was no time for pointless distractions. What's so strange?
I wish you'd taken me with you.
Okay, I'm starting to get confused. I'm trying to say that...
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body. But he was acting weird... how?
If you're presented with the opportunity...
That's a natural...
The victim was Chihiro. So of course I would suggest we check the girl. There was no time for... What's so strange?
I wish you'd taken me with you.
I'm starting to get confused. I really am. Hearing Byakuya's comment about Chihiro being a girl, I realize that there's a clear contradiction. Because it doesn't make sense how he could have known before we even... Oh my gosh, I'm focusing on the wrong
you
thing.
said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body.
Okay! Thank you, okay.
But he was acting...
If you're presented with the opportunity to check out the girls' locker
Okay.
room...
You absolutely take... That's a natural reaction for any guy!
Okay!
The victim was Chihiro, who was
No!
a girl.
Damn it!
Of course I would suggest there was no
I
time.
clicked the
What's
wrong
so
statement!
I wish you'd taken me with you.
Son of a... I swear.
So, you said Byakuya was acting kind of weird before we found the body.
Okay.
But he was acting weird...
Okay, this is starting to get embarrassing. This is starting to get embarrassing.
That's a natural reaction for any guy!
The victim was Chihiro, who was a
Boom!
girl.
Thank you!
No!
Got it! Oh my gosh! That was painful, I'm so sorry.
I'll tell you what's so strange about that. Because up until we actually discovered the body, we couldn't have known who the victim was. So your claim that you went to the girls' locker room first because Chihiro was the victim doesn't hold
That's
up.
my logic, that's what I'm trying to say!
I see. That's a good answer, I must admit. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. But your reasoning is still too weak. Huh? What's wrong? Is that it? Surely you've got more than that. Go ahead. Show us.
What's with Byakuya's attitude? It's like he doesn't even care. I got him cornered, but he's acting like he has nothing to do with it.
What's the matter? You're not finished already, are you? There must be more to it.
There is. I think.
There is more to it. Think about it. We just talked about the differences between this case and past Genocide Jack incidents. The proof you're looking for is hidden in there.
Oh? Proof that I'm the culprit, you mean?
The differences between this case and the other Genocide Jack murders. The evidence that proves Byakuya is responsible for him is hidden there. What the heck is wrong with me? What could it be? Okay, I'm going to do this one and then get that knocked out. Make your argument. The library desk plan.
What? The difference between the cases? You want me to explain it again? When I want to kill, I use my very own special scissors. And I use those same scissors to arrange the body.
But Chihiro was suspended with... It was some kind of rope. Was it not?
That's right! It absolutely was!
Then there must be something very fishy indeed about that rope.
Hey, Byakuya, where'd you get it from, huh?
I'd never seen that rope before in my life. Obviously, somebody else must have had it hidden away somewhere.
Okay. Okay.
What? The difference between the... You want me to explain when I want to kill? And I use those same scissors to arrange the body.
But, Chihiro, it was some kind of...
That's right! It absolutely...
Then there must be something very fishy indeed about...
Hey, Byakuya, where'd you get it from, huh?
Okay.
I'd never seen that rope before in my life.
No!
Obviously, somebody else must have had it hidden away somewhere.
Damn white noise.
What?
Okay.
The difference between the case... You want me to explain when I want to
I
kill?
know!
And I use those same...
But, Chihiro was... It was some kind of...
That's right! It absolutely...
Then there must be something...
Okay, yes, I know.
Hey, Byakuya, where'd you get it?
I'd never seen that rope before in my life.
Yes, got it! We're just trying to get through that freaking white noise! Ugh, that was horrible.
Actually, I'm pretty sure you have seen it before. Because, you see, that rope, or should I say, that extension cord?
What? An extension cord?
Byakuya, you've used the extension cord in the library more than once, haven't you?
Well, and that question's going to be answered in the next episode, because I think now's a good time to end things off. I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever that you want. And with that, I will see you later. Bye.